It wasn't the prettiest game for the Golden State Warriors, but a win is a win, and they move on to Sunday against the LA Clippers, and they control their own destiny for the #6 spot in the Western Conference. The worst the Warriors can do is finish 7th in the Western Conference and host a play-in game Tuesday night, but they want the week off as they finish their road slate in the regular season at 24-17, 7 games above 500. Into the regular season road slate in Portland, where they began the season, of course. And we'll discuss this, plus the wild Western Conference standings here on Toyota Warriors Post-Game Live with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, the pride of Yale, Zena Keita. I am Bonte Hill. Look, the Warriors blew this game open in the third quarter, went up 25 points. Now the Blazers kept fighting and fighting and fighting, but the Warriors had too much star power for them, and they got out, and hopefully Steph Curry is healthy with that right thumb.
Bonte, the Warriors did not have control despite having the lead at the half, but then they opened up the third quarter with a 17-5 run. You saw offense starting to be more fluid, flowing more easily, easier buckets. Now, don't get me wrong, Portland went on their run too, 10-1, and it got a little close within 16. But what happens? You want to have more runs than your opponent. They close the third quarter with a 7-1 run, and boom, that's when things get open. That's when you get Steph Curry on the bench, resting and getting to prepare for the Clippers.
Yeah, short-handed Blazers team. They showed a lot of effort, could not execute, couldn't make shots. The Warriors' offense wasn't at A-level game for them, but Jimmy Butler came through. You mentioned Steph being able to stay on the bench. Jimmy Butler took over in the fourth quarter, 11 for 11 from the free throw line, so he controlled those half-court possessions. So, like you said about it, they got the win. Now they control their own destiny on Sunday afternoon at Chase Center at 12:30 versus the Clippers.
No doubt. Can't wait for that 11:30 pregame show right here at NBC Sports Bay Area, live at the Gatehouse. See the Warriors force 22 turnovers tonight in Portland. They took advantage of those turnovers, scoring 20 points off those turnovers, one of our keys to the game.
And you want to make sure that you can get turnovers over a team like this. This is a long team. They run in transition. You want to have more opportunities at the basket than the opponent. And so it was really great to see the Warriors being able to run with a team like this, especially in that fourth quarter when you'd imagine them getting a little bit tired. No, they were still running and attacking.
All right, we're going to look at the Wild Western standings a little bit later, but let's go back up to Portland with Fitz and Buki, sent by with Draymond Green.
Well, Draymond Green put on a Defensive Player of the Year highlight reel tonight. This was a season low for an opponent, season low for a first half. Where was your energy level on defense? Because you were stopping everybody.
You know, we gave away a game a couple days ago that we should have won. Can't do it again. So just wanted to try to come out, set the tempo on that side of the ball, and make sure that, you know, we were locked in for this game because we blew one.
What's your mentality these last two when it comes to the rebounding and everything else that goes into the defensive side? Obviously, you're a huge part of the defensive game plan. You're the quarterback there, but you got the 7 rebounds tonight. Rebounding is always like one of the most important parts of the defense.
You know, I'd have more rebounds, but BP kind of steal a bunch of rebounds from me, so something I'm dealing with. But, you know, you got to finish the possession. There's no worse feeling than putting a great 24 seconds possibly together and then a team getting an offensive rebound and you got to guard for another 14 seconds. And usually when teams get offensive rebounds, those are kick-out opportunities for threes. And so, you know we got to clean up the boards. I think we did a pretty good job tonight. We made a point of emphasis to block, cleaning out, you know, so I tried to make sure I was boxing them out the whole game and not giving up offensive rebounds.
You're a basketball history guy. How about your man Buddy Hield with 200 threes in 7 straight seasons? Only 5 guys have done that. Steph has done it. Clay has done it. What has Buddy meant to this team? You're kind of one of the old sages. Tell us about Buddy's acquisition.
Man, Buddy's been incredible. Obviously, we all know what he does on the court, but even off the court is bigger. Just the energy that he brings on a daily basis. You know, he's always upbeat, brings a good vibe to the gym, good vibe to the plane, good vibe to the hotel. You know, wherever we're at, he's always bringing a good vibe to it. But just an incredible teammate. Actually, one of my favorite teammates. Look at him. One of my favorite teammates I've ever had, and yet he will get on your last nerve every day.
We're always talking about all the plays you're making defensively, and there's a million of them every game. How good is it for you to watch your teammates make great defensive plays? Like Pajemski drawing, 3 offensive fouls tonight? I mean, how excited are you when you see that happen?
That's always the best, you know, as a defender, you know, and try to be the leader of that unit. You know, you love to see guys buy in and making plays on the defensive end because that's what it takes to win. BP made great plays tonight. Buddy played great defensively tonight. Came up with a couple blocks, some rim protection. So Buddy was elite tonight. Got to give it to him.
All right, give us a thought on the Clippers. That's going to be for a playoff or play-in. It's going to be in your hands on Sunday at 12:30. Size it up.
Yeah, no, it's a tough game for us. They beat us 3 times this year, but we're a new team. It's always fun going up against a Ty coach team. Kawhi Leonard's a great player. We've had our battles with James Harden. That team's playing really good basketball, so we got to make sure we bring our A game.
Day-Day, thanks for stopping, man. We appreciate it.
No doubt. Appreciate y'all.
The one and only Draymond Green, and 12:30. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Draymond, and the Warriors will be ready. We'll have it for you on Sunday. Monster game to finish the regular season.
A monster game indeed for the Golden State Warriors on Sunday with the LA Clippers. Of course, let's check in on the LA Clippers, who are taking on the Sacramento Kings up at the G1C, the Golden One Center in the state's capital. A score alert. Clippers up 1 here. They intentionally fouled. 2.2 seconds left here. Kings with the basketball. DeMar DeRozan for the win. Was it a foul? Maybe not. No foul on the floor. Clippers hold on to win by 1. One of the hottest teams in the Western Conference. And they remain above the Golden State Warriors in the top 5. Kawhi Leonard, you see him walking off the floor there. Clippers had 99-90 lead there. Kings stormed back, almost stole it there, but the Clippers do hold on, setting up that matchup on Sunday.
Ooh, is that when Christie? That's not when Christie got his tech, right?
Oh, Doug Christie, earlier in the fourth quarter. Yeah. May have woke the Kings up.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know. That was close.
James Harden has had a resurgent year, playing great basketball all season long. Kawhi Leonard's back healthy. Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac. I know you love that big, Zena. This is a dynamic Clipper team. They're healthy. You said, Bonte, they're playing as good as the Warriors. 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference will meet Sunday for the right to either be in the play-in or be in the playoffs. And most importantly, for both these teams, I know they both want to get that week off.
No doubt about that. Clippers did clinch a top 5 spot in the Western Conference. I'm eager to see who they play on Sunday, but the Warriors have to win, Zena, to clinch a top 6 spot in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the Clippers is that they got bodies to throw at you, whether it's Derrick Jones Jr., Amir Coffey. They've got length on the perimeter. And when you think about what the way that the Warriors played tonight, Portland was up in the paint in terms of this basket scored, right? And so you're looking at the Warriors. If you're trying to, you got to slow down Ivica Zubac. That's going to be a problem on its own. But then also being able to stop the perimeter attackers. Kawhi's going to get to the paint in his way. Norman Powell's going to get to the paint in his way. And so you're seeing already this is what the Warriors have to prepare for on Sunday.
Points in the paint tonight, Portland 50, Warriors 32. So the Warriors are minus 18 when it comes to points in the paint. But the Warriors, again, they have to win on Sunday. I'm not sure who the Clippers will play because they've clinched a top 5 seed. Does home court advantage matter to them? We'll see about that. We'll discuss that later on in the program. But let's talk about Jimmy Butler, who did save his best for last in the second half against the Portland Trail Blazers tonight. 11 for 11 from the free throw line. More free throw attempts than field goal attempts. But that's what Jimmy Buckets does. A game-high 24 points, 7 assists, bully, 5 rebounds. His knack to get to the free throw line, that's a talent in itself. And he's flipped the Warriors' free throw shooting since he's been aboard.
It's been a huge factor, Bonte, in their late season success. Jimmy Butler getting to the free throw line, creating for his teammates. And the free throw is one of the biggest weapons offensively. Not only do you get free points, you get to set your defense, you get a quick minute or 2 of rest, you can communicate with each other. Free throws are all good, and the Warriors were at one point the worst free throw percentage. They were not getting there. Since Jimmy Butler has arrived, they skyrocketed to the top 5 in both categories. It's been a huge factor for their success.
How huge is it to be able to see, you saw in the clips, somebody that can face up and take their opponent. Immediately you have somebody that can take up space in the middle of the paint, and that is allowing the Warriors to play more inside out, which you saw in the second half. When the offense started to slow down, there was a lot more movement, people were cutting at the right times, and that's because you got someone in the paint that can maneuver with the ball for himself or see his teammates.
That is something the Warriors need to work on here. As of late, they haven't been as balanced offensively. A lot of three-point attempts. They need to get back to the inside-out attack, as Zena just mentioned.
Well, you think about, Bonte, when you face up in the triple threat, as Zena did, you want spacing, which is really shooting on the floor, so Jimmy Butler can go to work one-on-one because he's going to get a shot, going to get a foul. But maybe more important, if they do come double-team him, you want those shooters spaced out and make the defense pay. That's why even tonight, Quentin Post coming back tonight from being sick. 10 points, spacing. He does not hesitate from that three-point line. So really important that those non-Steph Curry minutes, You surround Jimmy Butler with shooters so he has multiple options.
Speaking to Stephen Curry, there was a scare in the first quarter as he left the game and later on went to the locker room. You see the right thumb here. We'll show that in a second.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng nhé. Và hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là thổ cẩm. Mọi người, hôm nay tiêu đề mình có là phòng trừ. Bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu làm nha. Nóng quá, anh là nóng quá. Hello. Đầu tiên là màu hồng.